These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
What else? Oh, last thing before we get you out of here. Robert Williams obviously is the story of the past few weeks. You heard the hints and the rumblings that he could potentially be back for the Warriors game. That didn't end up happening. Maybe he'll be back in LA. Maybe it's the first, game back in Boston. What are you looking for from him and the Celtics upon his return? Like, I'm talking starter / bench. Where is he going to be? Minutes? How do you expect him to look on offense and defense? Like, what are you expecting?
Yeah, it's interesting. I have been under the impression, based on what they've said and what we know about Rob Williams, that the biggest challenge to his recovery is going to be conditioning. That he's always struggled with conditioning. Maybe he just doesn't have the same motor as other guys in the league, but that he's been off his feet for a few months now. Just getting NBA ready is going to be the challenge. And then I saw that knee brace, and it was like, oh crap! Like, is his knee not fully healed? Because they definitely position it as the knee is fine, the knee's back, and he's just building strength and conditioning. But I don't know. Something about that knee brace changed my tune on that a little bit. For folks who haven't seen, he was practicing in San Francisco before the Warriors game, and his knee brace, it's like, I bet I could fit inside of it. It looks massive. So yeah, Jack, to your question, I think he'll come off the bench. I remember being at a game way back when, and they brought Tony Battie back from injury, and Tony Battie was probably starter caliber at that moment, but they warmed him back up, and I think that makes sense for Rob. Takes pressure off him, takes pressure off the starters to integrate him, and then he can come in at the end of towards the end of the first quarter when Tatum takes his rest, and he can work with Brown, or the beginning of the second quarter or something like that. So my guess is, unfortunately for Celtics fans, far fewer minutes than people want to see, and it will take time to ramp him up. I would bring him back in a low-stakes way against the Magic. I think that Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla are outrageously calm people, so I don't think that the sexiness of bringing him back for Christmas registers with them. I would like to see him come back for Christmas because I do think that that's sexy and fun, but I'm going to guess it's one of those Magic games. They got a home and home against the Magic next weekend. So it seems like the knee is healed. It seems like, we saw clips of him. He's getting up. It seems like he can jump around and stuff. I think he's probably still not as well conditioned as we would like. And that quickly becomes a liability. If you've ever played with, I'm subtweeting really hard right now, but in my men's league, we had guys that are really talented, but after 4 minutes, they're out of gas. And it's like, well, actually now you're a liability. What the hell? And Rob Williams really works when he's at speed, but a slower Rob Williams is shorter Luke Cornett. So I think that it will be a longer ramp period than people want. And it will also be a really impactful one. Because Rob Williams is really, can I swear?
Yeah.
Rob Williams is really fucking good at basketball.
100%.
Just to kind of piggyback onto that, I think bringing him off the bench is such a better option because it limits the pressure on him. Just look back in the playoffs. When he came back, people were expecting him to be the same exact player after a month of he tore his meniscus, had surgery, and a month later they were like, all right, this guy's going to be nasty again. The team's not going to lose. They're going to beat everybody by 30 points, just like they were for the second half of the season. And he was really inconsistent just because, who wouldn't be? You're coming off a big-time knee injury. You're out of shape a little bit. You're being thrown into the most intense basketball of the season, and you're expected to perform. It's really great that he's going to get a nice, easy coast back into the lineup, whether it is against Orlando in one of these LA games. I don't really care. It would be cool against Orlando. Just got to be there Friday. So it'd be like, oh, cool, man. We got to see Rob come back. All right. Right. But it's going to be nice to see him back. At the very least, he's exciting to watch. I think it's going to do good things for Smart as the point guard as well, because traditionally throughout his career, he has been an excellent pick and roll point guard, throwing lobs to guys on the roll. You've seen it with Horford in his first stint, even Baines, Tice, all those guys he had great chemistry with. Of course, Rob too last season. But it's just things get more exciting. You have that safety valve on offense. You don't always have to rely on the three. You have somebody who can just throw it up there and he'll catch it. At least, before he got hurt, we haven't seen yet. That knee brace is pretty big. And, could be using it just to add some weight to the jumps there to make his legs stronger. It looks pretty heavy.
It's like one of those baseball bat donuts. You just put it on.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Just for his knee.
You never know. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see him in the offense, especially. I mean, on defense, you can stick him in the corner, have him come over, play the free safety role. I think that's pretty standard for the Celtics. But offensively, like, they've relied on the three so much. I'm curious to see the role he plays and how Mazzulla integrates him into the offense. Not necessarily saying I think it'll be bad, but I think it'll take some time to adjust because they're going to have to change the way they play offense for him. I know Bobby Manning described it as he's basically just going to be an elevated Luke Cornett, which, I mean, you alluded to as well, which is great because Luke Cornett's been fine, but it's going to be weird not to see him in this offense.
Tic-tac-toe.